Well, thanks everybody for being here. As Spencer mentioned, I am an active contractor. I own about 55 routes in the Seattle area. It's out of 3 stations, 4 separate CSAs. I'm coming up right about 2 years. I got involved in July, literally smack in the middle of COVID. I was hit by a ton of brick. I actually took over a completely failing entity. And as I started looking around and I asked people, help me do this or help me do that. I'm a delegator, I'm a business owner, right? I'm not a driver, I'm not an operator involved, I'm not a BC. I wanted a business that ran itself. So as I started looking around, there was really nothing. There was nobody that could even help. I mean, I think 2 years from that date on, now there are many more vendors. But at that point, half of the guys that exist today didn't even exist. So basically, I started building RouteElite.com for my own internal use. Everybody, that's right about when they also started doing this thing they call wage and hour compliance, right? And I started paying my drivers just like the previous owner, and I'm in the state of Washington. And in the state of Washington, there is no such thing as overtime exemption. And when you pay your people discretionary bonus, non-discretionary bonus, 1.5 times overtime, no overtime, all of those things were new to me, as is for a lot of other contractors. What do you show on the pay stub? I don't know. I mean, I've owned many, many businesses over my lifetime, but this business is decently crazy. How many of you guys, based on what I've just been mentioning, agree that in this business, there's just way too many moving parts? Whether it's maintenance, MMR, FAI, MGBA, VMS, MEC, drug test, Fedex ID, driver license, MEC expires, you gotta give it to First Advantage. First Advantage has to give it to CDOS. CDOS has to give it to your P&D manager. Payroll, compliance, annual, overtime, undertime, DOL calculation. I mean, I've been a business owner for 12 years. I never knew there was such a thing called the Department of Labor overtime calculation. And FedEx has this assumption that we should all know what this is, and if we don't, or if we make the simplest mistake, we're gonna deserve an OTC. So because of the fact that there are so many moving parts in this business, it's very easy for a lot of things to fall through the crack. And we as business owners end up focusing on taking care of all these little things, and we don't really have time to be business owners anymore. So we're always basically fighting fires and trying to put out fires as opposed to being business owners. Essentially, what do we do at RouteElite.com? The way I can explain it to you guys at the easiest level is we're essentially your right-hand man. We're essentially your outsourced chief operating officer without you actually having to pay thousands of dollars. Very few of us can actually afford a chief operating officer. Very few of us can afford an outsourced right-hand man or chief operating officer. So what we do is we start from the very, very top. And we basically don't let go of anything until the absolute very end. What does that mean? Well, when you hire somebody, whether it's through us, Bright Flag, Bean Route, anybody, you hire somebody yourself, your BC hires somebody for you, you guys know how chaotic it is. Somebody hires somebody, now you gotta take their information, put it on payroll, put it onto scheduling, make sure they get their MEC, make sure you coordinate their documents, get HR documents, all that stuff. All of that essentially goes away. So what you do is you basically have your driver go to a website called addriver.com. They fill out their information, and once they fill out their information, essentially everything happens magically. They automatically get assigned to your CSA. They automatically get activated onto payroll. Their I-9 automatically gets collected. HR documents essentially automatically get sent out on your behalf. They automatically get signed, and MEC gets, depending on if they are First Advantage approved or not, they go through 2 different paths, of course. But either way, we compile their MEC, we compile their driver license, we compile what days they want to work and what days they don't want to work. We have essentially invented the coolest way to ask drivers what days they would like to work. And it's not, hey, do you want to work, yes or no. We actually ask their desire from a scale of 1 to 10 on a Sunday, what's their desire to work. 1 means, hell no, I'm going to quit on you if you make me work on a Sunday. 10 means, please let me work, I need to pay my rent. So all of that automatically gets collected. And it automatically goes to payroll, it automatically goes to scheduling. And next week, so let's say today is a Tuesday and this guy got hired on a Tuesday. Next week, when it's time to run payroll, all the calculation is automatically done. All of his MGBA data, DSW, FCC, on-duty hours, everything magically just appears in your payroll data. You do a quality assurance yourself, make sure everything looks good across all of your drivers, and all you got to do is just click on approve and submit. And we, as a company, having the understanding of all the audit requirements, we literally don't let you make mistakes. If a single individual is getting paid, but there's no clock in, clock out, we basically show you a pop-up saying, nope, there's 5 people that are missing clock in, clock out. How would you like to resolve it? There's one button you can say, yep, just resolve everybody, or you can take alternative approaches depending on how you run your operation. Automations continue happening after that person's been hired, of course. So we automatically start tracking that person's performance history, how many days they've been with the company. Depending on your settings, we automatically send out gift cards. So, hey, congratulations, you've been with the company for 100 days. We appreciate you. Here's a gift card. We actually physically send it to their home address on your behalf. It's been 365 days. Wow, congratulations. Thank you for being with us for a year. Here's a $50 Starbucks gift card. It's been 60 days. You're not qualified for health insurance. Congratulations. Here's Realm Health's information to contact them. And we automatically send a notification to Realm Health saying, hey, Realm Health, there's this employee that belongs to this company. He now qualifies for health insurance. Please contact them and make sure they can basically enroll in health insurance if they so choose. When the time comes when that individual is no longer with your company and you've removed them, all you do is you just click on dismiss 1 time and everything automatically happens. They're removed from scheduling, they're removed from payroll. All of this stuff automatically gets done, everything automatically gets documented, but I still don't consider that the very last step. I consider the very last step, as most of you guys know, exit interview. As an investor, as an absentee owner, it's very important for me, sometimes we as owners, we look at our numbers and we see 99% ILS, we see good safety record, we see good numbers, payroll is getting hit, everything is good, but there is a cancerous culture being happening inside of our operation and we just don't know. Our people are being overworked, our people are being abused, they're being bullied by our management team, and it happens all the time across the country. And if you're an absentee owner, you're never going to find out because who has the time to call somebody that's no longer with the company? But all of this automatically happens. At no point do you actually have to take any action. It's basically a workflow that just keeps on going on and on and on and on. Like the Energizer Bunny. It never stops. One of the coolest things we've built is budgeting, scheduling, and forecasting. There are a lot of scheduling companies out there. Some of you guys use them, some of you guys don't. But I consider ours to be something truly, truly extraordinary. Not only does it automatically cross-analyze itself with DSW and cross-analyzes itself with payroll. So if somebody is scheduled to work on a Tuesday today, and next week you're about to run payroll, it automatically tags that person specific to that day and shows you a tag that says, hey, this person was supposed to work on Tuesday, but he's not getting paid. Is it possible he was in training or he showed up, but he forgot to do DSW? Whatever the case is, everything we do is all about taking care of the problem today, so you don't have to resolve the problem tomorrow. Most of you guys know, anytime you run an off-cycle payroll, you're basically at the risk of being out of compliance. Off cycles are very, very bad in this business, but boy, oh boy, we all do them, right? All the time. And they're so stressful for us as owners. So that's just one portion of it. But the other thing that we do is we literally bring historical data directly into the scheduling software. So when your manager is actually looking at scheduling, they actually literally get to see on historical average, how many stops do we run on a Monday? How many stops do we run on a Tuesday? And that can be based on last week, last 2 weeks, last 4 weeks, last 8 weeks. So let's say on a Tuesday you run 1,000 stops. The cool thing is we also cross-analyze that with DRO. So let's say DRO basically says 1,000 stops, and historical data says 700. Which one do you trust? Most contractors, based on everything that I've seen, we usually trust historical data in our own CSA. So what our software automatically does is it basically does a multiplier across that 700 and 1,000, and it basically runs it across all of your routes for the next day. For that to happen, all you have to do is when you're done with DRO at night is click on an export icon and then click on an import icon on our software. On top of a lot of other things, we literally tell your managers what they should do for the next day. We tell them how many drivers they actually need, and we tell them how many drivers they've got scheduled. We tell them how many trainees are scheduled to work, how many people are on call, how many managers are scheduled, what the estimated budget is for tomorrow. And this is all based on the owner objective. What is your objective? What do you want your payroll to be? How many stops do you want your average route that gets dispatched to have? All of that completely automatically happens. Now, you'll see a lot of vendors, you'll see a lot of contractors that have their own Excel sheets, or they work with you and they give you software, but because of how many responsibilities as contractors we have and our BCs have, we're all tired. At night, we're not going to spend the time to try to see, are we really hitting payroll budget tomorrow? Are we really bringing in the right number of drivers tomorrow? We're just tired. We're just going to click and go. So if the software that you're introducing into your operation is going to be more work and you have to do more cross-analyzation and bring in data and do manual work, you're just not going to do it. Even your BC, they're not going to do it. So our software pretty much automatically does everything. And the other thing that is really, really special with our operation with RouteElite is we are an SMS-first company. I still remember this clear to this day. The first week that I took over my failing operation, I ended up being essentially an IT administrator. Every single driver didn't know what their passwords or emails was. They're like, what's my user? I can't log in. Can you reset me? What was my password? And all of that takes a lot of work. We have so much work. So from an early on perspective, I basically decided that if there is a username or password, it's going to be more work on me. It is very, very important for me. It's a passion of mine to make sure that the software does 90% of the work automatically. You don't have to go running around chasing for information. Everything just appears at the right place, at the right time, with the right context. And again, if your drivers don't have a username or password, it makes your life very easy. When we talk about payroll, I've already touched base on this a little bit, but we literally catch anything and everything. If you have a bunch of drivers that were not on schedule, but they're actually on DSW, we show it to you. And we tag them, and we show you how many. What does it mean? If somebody's not on schedule, but they're on DSW, it means very likely in the morning, there was a lot of chaos. A bunch of people didn't show up to work, and your management team had to run around, call people, and beg people to say, hey, can you come in and help me? Now, it's okay for that to happen, But as an investor, as an owner, as an absentee owner especially, it's important for you to know that, hey, that's happening. And if you don't jump in and take care of that ember, a little bit of small fire, that thing will eventually become a big fire and it could crumble your enterprise. The one that's extremely popular across the country, of course, is the 10,000 pound vehicle exemption. We automatically, because we know all of your vehicles, and we know how much they weigh, and we are the one that's actually calculating all of your drivers, and we know which driver drove which vehicle every single day with zero effort on your side. We literally tag that person on that day, but that's not good enough. If I tell you this driver drove a vehicle that's less than 10,000 pounds, and you gotta pay him overtime, well, now I gotta go do work. Well, that doesn't work. So what we do is not only do we tag them, but we actually convert them from the daily calculation to an hourly calculation. And we make sure it's actually set up specifically for Fedex standards and the Department of Labor standards, and that person is getting paid exactly what the Department of Labor wants, what the Fedex auditors want, and all of that is done automatically. So everything is all about being proactive. Essentially, you never have to worry about anything. I mean, one of the examples that Spencer mentioned, and it's very true, is your BC essentially borrows somebody from another guy, and he doesn't have time to go into payroll or call you and add him to payroll and all that crazy stuff. Well, the cool thing about us is we automatically catch that person. We automatically show that person to you. We say, hey, this person needs to be paid. Now it's your job to make sure that they actually get paid. All you have to do, you have one button to click on, activate. That's it. You click on activate, we automatically add them to payroll. This is assuming that person did not go through addDriver.com and he magically appeared on your DSW, which is what the objective is of Fedex, right? If they're on your DSW, you better pay them from your legal entity. So you click on activate and automatically they're added to payroll, direct deposit, I-9, HR documents, everything, and they automatically get paid. So a lot of things you just never have to worry about. I'm going to skip this bullet point overall. This is a fun one for me, and this is one of the reasons why most vendors that are supporting us have such a difficult time supporting us. I have personally spent the past almost 20 months of my life dedicated to RouteElite.com. My CTO tells me he's never, ever worked this hard in his entire life. And it's true, both of us combined. And the reason for that is this is the first business in my lifetime that I've seen where it is so non-delegatable at the prices that we can afford. If we could afford $20,000 a month, of course it's delegatable. But the concept of being able to actually make it delegatable, that's something you can afford. And I'm a contractor just like you guys. I'm struggling at 55 routes, financially speaking, right? So I understand everybody's pain, but this is a very interesting thing where it's a true story. The guy's name is Des Moines Willis on DSW. When we pull him up, it's Des Moines Vashon Willis on FCC. He's missing the N at the end. On payroll, it's got an A. On the scheduling software, it's Des Moines Rocks. On the GPS vendor name, it's DR. And then in real life, no joke, he wants to be called Paul Johnson. and then we all wonder why we can't go to sleep at night, why we can't go on vacation for 2 weeks. It's because when you leave, that payroll, like whoever you assign payroll to, they're not going to be able to run your payroll. So you're basically held hostage to your business because everything is in your head and everything is sitting in your Excel file in your own computer. This is almost the last slide. One thing that is very, very important to me is how we all, as owners and BCs, we're always on the road and we are never in front of a computer, very rarely. And we've done massive, massive amount of experiments on this, where it's our number one objective to make sure you're successful and you're passing your audits and you've got enough drivers and everything is basically on cruise control as much as humanly possible. In order for us to be able to do that, what we've done is we provide you what we call an organization-dedicated email address and an organization-dedicated SMS number. And it's the SMS number that's been the most excruciating effort on our side. We have literally had to change 8 service providers ever since our launch in order to actually be able to provide that level of service at scale. Because now you can imagine the owner sends a text message, the driver sends a text message, your bookkeeper sends a text message, your manager sends a text message. We could just tell you, hey, anytime you need anything from us, just email us. That is something we could do, and you could choose to be a client or not. But as a contractor, I know for a fact my BCs don't like emails. My drivers don't like emails. Text messaging is what everybody likes. So I refuse to give up on the idea that I want to allow our clients and their managers to be able to send us a text message, anything and everything you want. So, you know, when there's a new maintenance issue, my blinker isn't working, all you got to do is just text it to us. We automatically notify the right people, mechanic, your owner, bookkeeper, whoever you want. When it comes time to MEC expiring, I kind of mentioned this, we automatically coordinate. Because of the fact we're doing everything correctly today, when their MEC is expiring a year from today, we automatically coordinated with them. We automatically collect it. We automatically update First Advantage. First Advantage updates CDOS. CDOS updates your P&D manager. Life is good. When you go to your local DMV and you get a new vehicle registration, you know, we all tell ourselves, okay, I'm going to go home. I'm going to put it in the folder. I'm going to log in. I'm going to do this, this, this. But we never do it, and our database keeps getting out of sync all the times. And this is something that happens across the board with everybody. All you have to do is just take a picture, text it to us. We automatically update our software so your database is always up to date. We automatically update VMS registration date so you don't have to log into VMS. And we automatically notify your P&D manager with a copy of that registration. So it's all the little things that we take care of so you can essentially not have to, so you can focus on the big picture. So this is the last one. Automating your enterprise can really feel like magic. Having all this work done automatically can feel like pulling a rabbit out of a hat. It does. The only thing here, though, is it's actually better than any trick. You really do get your life back. You get to save your soul, because some of us, our souls are tired. So for further questions or assistance or to find out more information, just go to our website, RouteElite.com. Request for a demo. We're happy to assist, and we'll basically get the ball rolling from there. Thank you, everybody.